Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. Sorry we're starting a little late here. Let's get started. Got the first question. Raise your hand, and we'll bring you a microphone.
Okay, start with Michael, please. Michael, I know that you said all along that titles aren't really why you fight, championships aren't really the goal, but now that you're here, you're headlining the show, the belt's a few feet away from you. Is there a special feel to this fight week, to this fight in particular?
I actually didn't see the belt. I don't care if it's there. This is what it's about for me. This is just like any other fight. If I think that, oh my gosh, this is the first time I'm fighting for a title, you get a sense of anxiousness and you don't feel like I've been there before. But if I think I've been here 26 times before this, then everything's all right.
I couldn't help but noticing after you finished up your workout today, you were posted up with this TV watching Renan and Uriah Faber. It looked like you were studying it a little bit. I mean, what was going through your mind as you were watching that fight?
I don't know. I try not to look at people the way that they fight and try to say if I were in their shoes or if I was Uriah, what I would have done. No one fights the same. No two fights are the same. Even if you fight the same person, it's a different fight. So I just try to look at skill sets and skills people have, what they're good at, strategies and stuff, and try to place my own game shot.
Thank you for hitting it, if I could. Renan, just curious, you had the advantage of both headlining at UFC card before and also fighting here in England. What lessons did you take over those experiences that you might have or might go back to those?
Renan, você tem pouco mais de experiência que o Mike, você já protagonizou alguns eventos e tal, então o que você tira disso? O que você acha que você leva vantagem sobre ele?
Acho que a vantagem de lugar de Deus sempre tendo estar bem tranquilo, confio no meu trabalho, no meu treinamento. Estou simplesmente aí focado e vai dar o melhor.
I don't feel I have advantage of him because of this. I just feel I'm really focused, 100% focused. I have to do my job and I'm trusting my job.
And just one more for him, please. And obviously, Dominic Cruz hasn't fought in 16 months. If for some reason, you win on this weekend and he's not able to fight, I feel like the UFC should consider taking the title away from him and giving it to you so you're not just the interim champion.
Perguntando se você, o Dominic de luta já tem 16 vezes, e se você acha que se você ganhar esse sábado, se você acha que o UFC deveria considerar você, se você ganhar esse sábado e não puder mais lutar, já não estiver machucado, se o UFC deveria considerar você o verdadeiro campeão do ele.
Acho que se ele vai decidir o UFC, né, o cara vai ser o que eu recebi, eu estou aí para aceitar ele mais ou menos.
I don't think I'm this, I was not just signed this to the UFC, I'm just an employee and wherever the UFC wants to be, I'll accept it.
Sorry, just a question for yourself. Yesterday was actually at the event in Dublin and you left the event quite poorly. How are you feeling about yourself?
Much better, thanks. Appreciate it.
So thanks for doing Dublin as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Question for Coach Swanson. You've put together an impressive win streak as of late. Is there anything in particular you can attribute that to? Anything that's improved the training or such?
Yeah, I keep getting asked that question over and over, and every time I feel like I answer it a little differently. I think it goes to my stubbornness, and I keep training hard. When I had my face surgery, I took 3 days off. I was in the gym with a wire jaw, hitting pads, running. When I broke my hands, I was in the gym with the cast on. I was just trying to be better, and I really feel like that's it. It's just how hard I work.
And just one more question. When Dustin was injured and was announced that Dustin Poirer was slated fight instead, how many adjustments were you forced to make, and how much were you forced to alter your game plan for that fight?
Well, down in Jackson, we kind of spar everybody, and I was already sparring some softballs here and there, and I trained almost 8 months for Erico, back-to-back camps where we didn't fight, and I wanted to fight a southpaw, so when they gave me his name, I was like, sweet, sounds like fun, let's do it.
Thank you.
Para o Renan, my name is Cyrille Santiago Júnior, Diabate Nordeste, from Brazil. I will ask in Portuguese. Renan, você é um ícone lá no Natal, sua cidade natal, saiu da periferia, um bairro que dá poucas oportunidades para adolescentes, jovens. No Brasil, quando a pessoa é jovem, pensa em ser jogador de futebol, mas agora já está mudando isso um pouco. Algumas pessoas já estão pensando em ser lutadores. Como é que você vê isso? Se você tem algum projeto social, alguma ideia de projeto social para ajudar pessoas como você que saem lá de Natal?
He's asking, Renan, you came from Natal, you're an icon in your city, in your hometown, and there are many young who don't have the chance of being an athlete like you are, and many of them think they want to be a soccer player, but now MMA is changing this because many young people in Brazil want to be an MMA fighter. What do you think about this, and do you have any social project in your city?
Acho muito feliz com tudo isso, né, que está acontecendo. As crianças hoje em dia, pessoas no calor, pessoas do esporte, e com certeza futuramente tenho tradição de abrir um projeto lá na minha cidade. Acho que isso aí vai ser fundamental para tirar as crianças da rua, das drogas, do mundo da violência. Acho que isso no futuro bem próximo, com certeza, quero formar mais.
I'm very happy because MMA is changing this, and now kids and children are thinking of being fighters and of a soccer player or another sport. And yes, I think I can have a social project in my city in the near future.
A question for Michael. You say that the belt really doesn't mean too much to you, but you do have the chance on the weekend to become the youngest UFC champion. Is that something that means anything to you? Does things like legacy mean something to you at this stage of your career?
Honestly, no. I feel like if I am going to look at it, I am going to let it, I guess you could say, sink in. Time's afterwards. Time is right now. I'm people like anybody else, and my mind, my emotions are open for corruption if I let it. I don't want to let anything different from this fight. All my other fights is just another day. And, maybe afterward I'll think about it and be happy with myself or whatever else. But right now, it's not the time. The past in front of me is the past in front of me.
Has this chance come at the right time for you, or ideally would you like to feud more fights and gain experience before fighting for a UFC belt?
I always took a very conservative approach, not calling anybody out, making sure that when I get here, I feel like I'm ready. And of course, everybody thinks that they're ready, but I wanted to make sure that I can see people's fighting style and understand their fighting style. I believe that when you understand something, you can either break it, build it, or repair it. And until I can understand the people that I'm fighting against in competition fully, I wanted to really, I guess you say, be patient. And I feel like now I can let people understand what they're doing and feel confident with myself now.
He's had a few things to say about Brits, and obviously about the spitting incident last time. Any extra security when he walks in the octagon?
No, I don't think he's going to need the extra security. I mean, every time we come out here in the UK or anywhere in Europe, everybody's very respectful. Didn't happen. Unfortunately, he spit in his mouth, which is a little unusual, but no, I don't think he's going to need any extra security.
I got James McSweeney, the Sledgehammer, and Robert Drysdale walking out with me, so I feel pretty safe.
You planning on wearing a mask, right?
Well, I'm going to be wearing a jacket with a hood on my walkout, but I've been in London for the last couple of days, and the difference between Manchester and London is night and day. I'm not trying to be mean, but right now, I'm enjoying my time.
Good to hear. Jay, is this just your own personal battle again with that, or do you kind of feel like you're fighting for the country?
No, I mean, it's just competition, it's nothing personal. I think what Matt said has been taken out of context a little bit anyway. Someone spat in my face, I'd be completely safe. And know, he doesn't say about every British fan. It's just about those people who started. So to me, it's just something and nothing really.
Couldn't agree more.
Just following on with Jay. Jay, has this been a very emotional camp for you? Obviously, your first child, your son, was born in October, and you lost your father in December. And obviously, this is throughout this last training camp, and there's a whole backstory to you not being around your father when you were a small boy. Has it been a very emotional camp, and how have you been able to deal with that emotion and build up to this important fight for you?
You know, obviously, at times it's been emotional, but at the end of the day, this is my job. You know, my father was ill, so he suddenly just passed, so you know, I had time to deal with it in my own way. And yeah, literally, in a sense, it's kind of helped. You know, it's given me a new focus. And yeah, this is what he would have wanted, so I'm carrying on.
And just a question for Dana. It seems like you get applied with Guinness, you release stories. It seems like you had a good drink in Dublin and you were releasing stories in the bar, or random Irish people seem to be having stories about it.
For the record, I was not drinking.
Okay.
I'm on medication, believe me.
Okay.
The furthest thing from drinking.
I just wanted to ask Carl, obviously you've had 3 KOs in a row. When does this newfound maturity during your fights, where you're not fighting wild, and you're picking your shots, very cleverly setting traps for other fighters, which has enabled you to win these last 3 fights. And in your mind, are you still fighting back from those 2 losses against Aldo and Lamas to get your title shot in this division?
I feel like I got a clean slate here in the UFC. I got the 1 loss, but for me that was like a learning experience. I just came back from that injury. I feel like I'm a lot more mature at this point in my career, and I've realized I'm not indestructible, and I got to be a little bit slicker. I am a smart fighter, so I decided to be a little bit smarter and tougher. And I've been working with the Diaz brothers, the boxing Diaz brothers. I got Antonio here with me and Well Diaz. I train with world champions, and to spar those guys, you got to be very fast and very accurate. And with my confidence has grown, and the years I spent with them, I feel very confident now.
Just a question for Dustin Poirer. Obviously, Dustin, Cup mentioned to me last week that he was unhappy with where he'd been ranked in the first UFC media rankings in the division. When I think it was 6 and 7 respectively in the division, he was unhappy about the fact that Dennis Siver and the Korean Zombie are both ahead of you. What do you feel about the rankings as they are, and what will it mean to you in the system of the division to get a win over Korea?
You know, I think the rankings are pretty accurate. I was high up before my loss to the Korean Zombie, and you know, I think 7th place is a reasonable place where I'm at right now. But you know, after this weekend, the featherweight division is going to change up a little bit. You know, this is going to be a big win, and yeah, I feel like it's accurate.
Eu peço for Renan. Renan, você está entrando numa situação diferente agora nessa luta. Tá com um cinturão na frente, a estrela da noite. O que isso muda para você? Na sua luta, na sua preparação, vai o que vamos dar no sábado?
Renan, now you are on a different way, because in your last fight, Faber was the favorite, and now you are entering like a favorite with the injury belt. What's this change in your mind? What's the change in your preparation for this fight?
Essa luta é importante como todas as outras, né? Eu treinar o máximo possível. Eu acho que estou bem treinado, bem focado, e eu acho que não é diferente de outras lutas. Eu acho que cada luta que seja a próxima é mais importante, então eu irei para dar uma melhor.
It's not a different fight for me. I trained hard for this, and all the fights I had, they are important. The most important fight for me is the next one, so I'm here to do my best.
Yeah, I've got a question for Jimi. Coming off such a dominant performance in your last fight, the Does that give you a lot of confidence going into this fight against Cyrille?
I'm always confident when I fight. It was good to get the win in my first fight in the UFC. But she was a stand-up fighter as well. I think it'll be an exciting fight as well. But I'm always confident.
And also Cyrille, just some thoughts on Jimi as an opponent and how maybe you think the fight could play out on Saturday night, or how you hope it to play out on Saturday night?
Well, of course, I hope I'm winning, that's for sure. But, it's going to be a stand-up war. Jimi's a powerful striker, more of a technical striker. While bread and butter is striking, so whatever happens is going to be exciting.
Thank you.
Another question for Jimi. Obviously this is only your second fight in the UFC, but already you're bumped up to the main card. You've got a lot of international exposure, a lot of positive comments around your fighting style. How does it feel to get that big bump, so early in your UFC career?
It feels great to be recognised as an exciting fighter, but I don't let it get to my head and now just concentrate on getting the win and finishing the opponent.
Getting a lot of support internationally, which it normally filters down from the UK, but worldwide Jimi has been getting a lot of support. Has any of this filtered to you, and what did you think to his first performance?
Yeah, it's like he said, he got his first win under his belt in the UFC. I love when I see guys come in and are undefeated. It's so rare in the sport. You get a guy who's as talented as he is and has an undefeated record. But now it's the building process. We've got a fight on Saturday night against a guy who's, he won like 13 of his last 16 fights and 8 or 9 by knockout too. So this should be, stylistically, this should be an amazing fight. If he gets past this test, you just keep moving. Hopefully he's undefeated and do that.
Thanks a lot. And finally to Cyrille, obviously Jimi does have this hype coming into the fight, but you're the more experienced fighter. You've got a couple of fight win streak in the UFC. Is it more important to you to sort of end this hype train? Has it been any different with how people have been approaching the fight and talking to you, given the hype that it's got?
Yeah, definitely. He's got a very good reputation in this country, but I've been fighting 22 years now. Most of my fights have been in Thai kickboxing, and I've been up against undefeated fighters before, with all the hype surrounding them. So I'm a bit used to this actually. So it's nothing new.
And you're no stranger to London, but how do you foresee the crowd reaction going against one of London's own, Jimi, on Saturday night?
Well, there's an old rivalry between France and England for a long time, so going against the local hero, I'm expecting to get booed. I hope not spat on, but I'm expecting to get booed. Nothing unusual.
Thanks a lot.
Cyrille, I think the 2 times you've lost in the UFC have both come in England. Is that some sort of curse you broke?
Yeah, exactly. I really, someone brought it up during the camp and said, the only 2 losses in the UFC were in England. And, I hadn't thought about that before. And definitely going to try my hardest to break that.
What stage are you at in your career? Because I think if you win this weekend, you put together a 3-fight win streak for the first time since you joined the UFC. You kind of feeling as good as ever, or do you ever contemplate when time is right to retire?
I won't lie, I've been thinking of retiring for a couple of years. Motivation, is a factor. After 22 years of fighting, you get to think of these things. So it was a battle for a couple of years, trying to get hard training at the gym. Right now, it's not an issue. I showed that in my last fight. You know, I got in a great training camp. Got my mindset on winning, and it's motivated me more to, you know, for this fight, for this training camp. So I feel good.
Daniel, just get back to the Barao McDonald fight. The context obviously is the winner hopefully gets to fight Dominic Cruz. Is there any update on how Cruz is doing?
Yeah, but, you know, like John said earlier, you know, when you talk about, yes, the kid is supposed to come back. I mean, I've never seen anybody with worse luck than this kid's had over the last, you know, several years. But when you talk about the belt, he is the interim champion. He has the belt. Every guy who ends up taking that belt and becoming champion, you got to beat the guy who beat the guy. So, yes, we expect him to come back. Everything is going as well as expected with him. Hopefully, you know, he comes back soon. That's really all I can say. I mean, I don't see a situation where the kid starts. I mean, if he starts training again and gets another injury that's going to take him out for another year, I mean, I hate to even say this. I love the kid. He's such a really good kid, but he should seriously look about retiring. If he got a serious injury again, we'd keep him out for another year. We'd put him out for close to 3 years. That would be insane.
I actually thought there for a minute you were going to say that you would have to strip it of the titles. Does that ever go into it?
Yeah, I hate saying that too. I hate taking something like that from somebody. Like I said, the way it works in the fight business is you beat the man, you beat the man. And obviously, if he had to retire, then that would, you know, then he would automatically become a champion.
How do you view Cub's position? Obviously, he gets banged over the head by the fact that he lost to Jose Aldo a few years back. Does that ever, would that sort of make it more difficult for him to get a title shot? He carried a winning. I think he makes it 4 in a row if he wins on the weekend. Does the Aldo defeat sort of make it more difficult for him to get another to get a shot at Aldo?
What's that question?
With Cub having suffered a loss to Aldo in the past, does it make it difficult for him in your mind? Does he have to do more to pressure to earn a shot again?
I don't think so, no. I mean, it just depends on timing and I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, look, I'll give you a perfect example. Bigfoot Silva. Bigfoot Silva, I mean, beat him pretty easily, but then he just came down. He came out and knocked out Alex all over him. And, you know, it's tough to not say that he shouldn't get another shot at the title. I mean, I think everybody pretty much felt that way after the fight.
I guess, you know, talking about that title situation at 145, you are in a fantastic win streak. This would be a big win. This is a big fight in the division. When you see how the last fight was given at 145, you know, a text message, you've always kind of been the patient type. Does it change your approach? And like maybe, hey, maybe I need to stick my hand in the air and speak up a little bit, and maybe, you know, how you handle yourself after the fight if you get a big win like this?
I feel like I have been speaking up a little bit, and I feel like it's made a difference. But that's probably all I'll do. I'm just enjoying fighting right now. I've been doing well, and my ultimate goal is to be the best I can possibly be. When I retire at the end, I just want to be happy with my progression. If it takes me to being a world champion, then I'd be blessed. But right now, I'm just taking one fight at a time and enjoying the ride. I fight for the UFC, you know, that's a lot of people's dream right now.
Dustin, actually wanted to ask you the same question because obviously you did have the one loss, but you got a nice win streak together. This would be a big win. When you saw what happened, does it change? Because you've always said, "I'll just be patient. I'm young. I've got time on my side." And you feel like, "Hey, maybe I need to speak up a little bit."
No, you know, I'm not really a guy that does that kind of stuff. I have a lot of fights left. I mean, I feel like I learn so much every time I step into the octagon. So, you know, I just want to keep winning fights and learn on the job. And you know, when it's right and it's time for me to fight for the belt, I'll be ready.
And just to put this into context here, okay? Text messages don't get you title fights. What happened was, he's in line for the 55-pound title. This other fight is going to happen with Melendez and Henderson. You know, there's been all this talk that this kid, first of all, he comes off an incredible performance against Cowboy Cerrone on Fox. And he knows he's got to wait now for this title shot. And to give him the 145-pound shot, when you know he's going to get the 55-pound shot, and he doesn't have to cut weight to make 55, was a no-brainer. So there's going to be circumstances where, plus, you know, the kid has been waiting for a long time too. Pettis has been. So it's not just as easy as shoot a text message and you're going to get a touch. This card here, and we're so pumped about. I mean, these are all great fights. I mean, look how many guys we have up here on the podium, and we could have brought more. You know, we could have brought more people. This card's stacked from top to bottom, and all these fights mean something, and all these guys are close to great things. We're really excited about this.
Daniel, on that note, was it a deliberate statement of intent? So in the past, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've only had one UFC event in the UK each year. Obviously, there's been others in Europe as well. But was it a statement of intent to put this level of card on this early in the year? And what does it signal for the rest of the year for the UK and Europe?
Yeah, the best way that I can explain this to you guys is, and I've said this to you one-on-ones a million times, we're 6 or 7 years behind over here. You know, we're not where we should be right now. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with the television deal here. You guys know last time I was here, I announced that Mr. Cook was taking things over here. He's an absolute stud. And just in the short amount of time that he's been here running this, things are changing, and we're going to get this all sorted out. We never gave up on the UK. I know the fans and the media have been bitching at me for years. We never gave up here. You know, we got the right guy in here, and we're going to get this done now.
Can you just talk for a minute about, you mentioned Bigfoot and Cain Velasquez just now, and Alistair Overeem and JDS, Junior Dos Santos. How did that come about? Is it because you've got a bit of a log jam in the heavyweight division at the moment?
Did that fight happen because it was a log jam?
Yeah.
No, that fight happened because he knocked out Alistair Overeem in spectacular fashion. And if you sit there and you look at the guys who are in the heavyweight division who are next, how do you say he doesn't deserve it? I mean, Alistair Overeem was a guy that a lot of people believe would go in there and could win that title. And Bigfoot weathered the storm and then viciously knocked him out. Guy deserves a shot.
And finally, Matt, you're kind of playing down the fact that you've been brick bashing in the last week or so. You know, you obviously called out Dan Hardy, you've called out Johnny Hathaway, you complained about the refereeing in Manchester, that you needed an umbrella because they were spitting on you. I don't condone that, of course, I'll make light of that, but it is wrong. You are really brick bashing at the moment. You revealed to me earlier on this week you've got Scottish ancestors. So why did you wear a kilted on Saturday night?
You know, man, you might consider a brick bash, you know. I'm just trying to get my name out there, you know. I'm just trying to work my way up the ladder. And it just so happens I feel like I have an edge on the English talent. And that's it, you know. There's nothing personal, brother.
So does that indicate to you, Jay, that this guy's not going to stand with you on Saturday night and he's just going to grind you out?
Oh, you're misspoken with that. Me and Jay are going to go out there and we're going to bang. And I don't care what anybody thinks or says. The UFC is the main card for a reason. And I'm going to go out there and throw.
Well, let's hope you do, because you did complain about you know, being stood up the whole time by Mark Goddard in Manchester 3 or 4 years ago. So if you go out and stand and trade with Jane, if you're willing to stand up more, then it's all the credit to you, really.
Exactly.
The English are all over you, man.
You know, I don't know what the problem is. You know, the thing is, too, you guys have to realize that this is mixed martial arts. You know, it's not kickboxing. So, you know, if I take somebody down, you guys start booing me and the ref stands me up 15 seconds afterwards. How's that fair if we're fighting mixed martial arts? So I think, you know, I'm well on my right to say I don't want that guy in the ring with me. I don't feel safe, and I don't think he's educated in the sport.
Shane, you got a reaction to Matt saying that he fancy standing? Does that suit you?
You know, I've got a son to look after tonight, so fighting my opponents are coming very, very nicely right now.
Thanks, James.
Any more questions? I'll square these guys off for some photo ops. Thank you guys very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.